Alright, welcome back everybody. This is going to be operation number 2 for the step holder part. I'm going to go ahead and create a new machine group. So right click on the first machine group and then under groups, new machine group, lathe. Alright, and then we'll move over to the stock setup. This time our stock is going to be 0.5 diameter, half an inch. We'll go ahead and leave the length at 4, and we'll put a 10 thousandths on the right margin as we did before. Actually, that should be, let's go back in there, should actually be 1.625 should be the length. .635. There we go. 1.635 and green check. For our chuck jaws, we will go from stock, and we're going to uncheck the grip on max diameter. So uncheck both of them. So user defined position, diameter is going to be 0.375. The Z is going to be 0.75 minus 0.75. Minus 1.125. Yeah. Green check. Green check. Alright, so let's see. We got to clean this up. So let's go ahead and hide this stock model. And then we need to actually get our operation 2 model. So let's go back to our levels. And we're going to click to activate level 2. And then check the X for op 1. .875. Okay. So our chucks should be at 875. Really doesn't matter. We're going to use the stock from the first operation as our stock for the second. But we can go back in there, back into the stock setup, chuck jaw properties, and Z minus 0.875. Green check, green check. So you can see for now will allow us to create our toolpaths, and then later on we'll bring in that stock model and get to see what the finished part would look like. Okay, so first toolpath is going to be facing. So we'll go back to the turning tab, face. So that tool 1. Feed rate will be 5 thousandths. Spindle speed 200 and max of 2000. Coolant's already on. And then the face parameters. Finish Z is 0. And my overcut amount is 35. Green check. Now this is going to be a thread, quarter 20. We look and right click, analyze entity properties. Diameter on there is 246. Alright, so even though it's quarter 20, it's a little bit smaller. If you actually measure any of your screws or anything like that, you'll notice a quarter 20 screw is not actually a quarter inch, it's a little under. So we're going to go ahead and rough it, finish it, and then thread it. So rough, and I'm going to actually choose solid selection this time. It's going to automatically give me this geometry to select on, right? So I'm going to go here to here, just like that. So it should start on this front chamfer and end on this chamfer here. Alright, green check. Alright, feed rate's going to be 5 thousandths, spindle speed 200, and max is going to be 2000 again. Again, the coolant's already on. I can tell by the parentheses with the asterisk, star. Rough parameters. So my depth of cut is going to be 25 thousandths. Stock to leave in X is going to be 5 thousandths, and Z is going to be 2 thousandths. 2 thousandths. And that's it. Sorry, no it's not. Stock recognition down here. Use stock for outer boundary. And green check. Alright, just like before in the first operation, we'll come back with a finish pass using the same geometry. Looks like we don't have that option for solid selection, so that's fine, we can just select it again. First edge and last edge. Green check. And then we're going to go find that finish tool again. It's 2121, but it's actually number 2 in the machine, so we'll change that to tool number 2, offset 2, and station 2. And we'll go ahead and slow down that feed rate, 3 thousandths. Spindle speed's at 200, max is 2000. And finish parameters, we shouldn't really have to mess with anything here. Green check. That's that. Now we just need to do the thread. For that one, alright, so we're going to hit the drop down Over here, we're going to choose threading right there. Now we're going to find our threading tool, which is going to be 9797. And we're going to go ahead and do a right click, edit tool. All right. Our threads per inch is going to be 20. And we're going to notice the thickness of our insert is 195. We're going to make sure that we don't want to crash the insert into the shoulder here. So we're going to have to stop a little bit short. So we'll green check that. And our tool, our threading tool, is 10 in the machine. So we'll change it to tool 10, offset 10, station 10. And the feed rate, let's see. Feed rate is going to be determined by the parameters. So if we go to thread shape parameters, we have 20 threads per inch. It's a quarter 20 thread, so that's right. Major diameter, minor diameter. Start position is 0, and the end position is minus 0.5, and then we'll back it off like 10 thousandths, so plus 0.01 is going to give us minus 0.490. Okay, and for our thread cut parameters, the third tab, we're going to leave these things the way they are, but it's equal area, number of cuts 5, and we're just going to leave all these as they are. Green check. All right. Now, you might be wondering if the threads go all the way up to the shoulder, there's going to be a little bit of area with no thread, but we don't have to worry about that because in the assembly, half of this, about half of this thread is taken up by the first holder piece. So I'll show you that in a second. Let's go ahead and save this. And then I'm just going to, you don't have to do this, I'm just going to open up the assembly real quick. Here. Just if you don't remember, so we can see it real quick. So here it is here. So this whole part is just clearance, and it actually threads into the bottom holder piece, right? So we don't really care if the threads don't go all the way up to the shoulder, and we also don't, for that reason, we don't need a relief or anything in there. So, all right, let's bring it back up. Don't save. Okay, now we can do a verify. Go ahead and verify that. Speed up. It looks like the simulation is probably going off of the tip. That's why I said take notice of the thickness of this. So So we can go ahead and adjust that. So let's close out the simulation, and we're going to back that thread off by about another 70 thousandths, I'd say. So we go back to the thread shape parameters, and I'm going to add 70 thousandths, and I'm going to green check that and then regenerate, and I'm going to go ahead and verify again. Alright, so that's a little better. Go in here and do a back plot and see how close it gets. It's right about there, isn't it? Very close. We could back that off a little bit more if we want to. Pretty close. So again, that's going to depend on how you set up the machine. On our machine, we usually just set it up off the front edge here, whatever is the leftmost portion of the tool. So we would, probably just go back to that minus 490 in our code. But for the sake of simulation, we'll just leave it this way. All right, and then we'll save it real quick. And now, go ahead and show you how we can use that stock model from before. Okay, so we want to bring in the stock model as a way to verify our second operation. So the stock model from the first operation, it looks like this. So what we need to do though is we need to actually get rid of this part. Otherwise we're going to get crashes in our simulation, even though we know that's not going to be there. So what we'll do is we go back into this stock model to the parameters, and under stock definition, we're here where it's 4.01 inches long. We're going to want to change that. We need to click something because right now everything's grayed out, right? So we sort of have to jolt Mastercam into realizing we want to change something. So if we click on a rectangle real quick, you see the options come up. Then I can go back to cylinder. Okay, so in this cylinder, what I want for my length is 1.7. All right, green check that and regenerate it. Looks like we forgot to move the Z. Go back into parameters. Okay, so the origin and the coordinates, so we got 1.7, parts 1.625, so it's going to be minus 1.69, and that should leave us 10 thousandths to the right. So green check that, regenerate again. Sorry about that. Okay. So now, if we go back to our levels, highlight that first op. Okay, so now the stock model lines up with our original part, just leaving that material that we haven't cut yet. Okay. Again, I'm going to hide op1 and reactivate op2 geometry. And now I want to go ahead and save this file like we did before. So I go back to turning and I go back to stock model, drop down, export as STL. And we go back to the folder that we're saving in, where we saved it before. We're just going to overwrite that other one that we saved before. So save it. Yes. Okay. Now that it's saved, I can hide it. Bring my arrow back down here. Alright, so now in order to use that for stock, I would need to bring it in, but it's going to come in the same orientation. So I'm going to need to move it. So if I go File, Merge, go find the file that we just saved, Step Holder Op2 3D object, that's our STL. Open that. Okay. Comes in, it's in the wrong orientation, that's okay. Hit the green check, then we'll select it, transform, rotate 180. It's going to be a move, not a copy. So move 180. Green check. And then now we want to move it back 1 inch, 0.625. So select it again, transform, translate, move, X minus 1.625. Green check. Now it's in place. Alright, so now I need to come back to my stock setup. Go to Properties. Here where it says Geometry Cylinder, I'm going to hit the drop down, choose STL Entity, and then select Entity, and click on that STL I just brought in. Alright, green check again, regenerate. Now I can verify. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and under the Home tab, whether it says Fixtures, I'm going to click on the Fixtures twice, and that'll get rid of the jaws just so I can see that there's my finished part. Alright, close that out and save. Yes. And that's it. See you on the